What's up, guys? Welcome back. Another Friday. Friday then, Saturday, Sunday, what? So I got moved up a little, very, what's it called, very last minute. I'm just opening up my pages, stuff I wanted to talk about, so bear with me for a few minutes. There we go, just refreshing everything. I had it set up already, luckily. So if you were here last Wednesday, I'm gonna repeat a few stuff, but I need to keep that open. But yeah, basically the tip: if anyone watched the video I posted, like either right before or right after, thanks. If they're annoying, just say so. I can turn them up or down or whatever. But I like having a little background noise. But if you watched the video I posted Wednesday, I was talking about taking profits. So obviously, everything went up. And afterwards, we had a small correction. So I think it once again proves like taking profits, it's never a bad thing. We did bounce a little back. So it's been a bit sideways since Wednesday, but it did briefly crash. So all in all, taking profits is fine. One more page, and then we can get to the fun stuff. Damn, my internet is so slow again. It should not be, because I finally have fiber optic internet, but I don't know. Sometimes it just seems like... Wait, what? Pengu is up 212%. I still hold Pengu. All right, so let's grab that screen, because that'll be more fun to talk about. Share screen. That's I always get confused with these. I have so many different streaming clients that sometimes you get confused, but I got it. There we go. So isn't this a fun chart, especially on the monthly? So I gotta check my Pengu. I still hold a little bit, so I know it's not a lot, but I completely lost track of it. But it's just the first thing that sprung out at me. Anybody in here hold Pengu or bought it at the time? Picoin seems on its way back up. Solana's up. Sui is the gift that keeps on giving. Gaspa finally. Virtual. Damn, I hold virtual as well. How did I miss this? Did I not? I don't know. I should have alerts for this, but I completely missed that. Maybe because my amounts are smaller. Hey, what's up? Maybe because basically I just started a position in virtual and Pengu. Sui, I noticed. I suppose I didn't notice it because it's on a monthly and I'm looking in week after week. Yeah, I love Sui. I bought Sui right before it went parabolic, so I put in a few $100 and it turned in a few thousand. And even after that, I'm still making more profit on it. So yeah, like Sui. I think I think Sui has plenty of room to grow still. Like, where is it? See, it's only on 12 billion. You could easily still do 2x, maybe 3x. And if it's true, like they wanna stay the course, if it does go the Solana route, I mean that's almost, it could do 10x on the longer term though. But yeah, Sui is one of my favorites for this season. We are in a little bit less greed than we were Wednesday. Like I said, I don't know if all of you were here on Wednesday as well, but Wednesday we were almost at extreme greed, and that's also why I use the fear and greed index for to time my DCA moments, but also to time my take profit moments. Like when it's in greed, well into greed, well in, or maybe into extreme greed, that's when I look at, all right, where am I taking profits? Where am I? Yeah, it was 72, I think, on Wednesday when I did the video, out of the top of my head, but maybe 75. Maybe I'm wrong. But yeah, I'll grab the graph real quick if it lets me. But like it's not too bad. But I was talking about in my video, I was talking about like each time we hit that extreme greed mark, it's similar to technical analysis. Each time we hit that extreme greed mark, we bounce. Similar with extreme fear. Like the second we hit that extreme fear, it's safe to assume prices will rebound. It's similar to an RSI, really. So I think timing your DCA in and DCA out moments on these extreme greed, extreme fear is, well, I won't say it's not rocket science, but it's super easy. But I can understand that it's hard for some people to time exactly when to get out. But I think this is a super easy indicator which dumbs it all down. This does not require any technical analysis other than just, all right, I buy here, or I sell here, sorry, and I buy here. So I think this is a very good way to look at the markets, very basic, very fundamentally. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it was 26, now it's 27. We are slowly moving more and more to that altcoin, very slowly to that altcoin season. But considering, like, if we look at the bubbles, if we see this, I mean, I think we're altcoins. A lot of people were saying altcoins were dead and it's not going to happen, which usually happens when Bitcoin does well and altcoins don't. But yeah, I think there's a lot of room for altcoin seasons, altcoin growth in general. That being said, I do think it's heavily reliant on the crypto market in general, but and also meme tokens, like, yeah, Pengu is up 240%, but I think that was after it dropped 90%. So it's the same, like meme coins. I don't believe in them. You can make money on them, like any asset that trades and is very volatile. All the time. Yeah, so I do still think we are in a bear market, but I think crypto markets are doing weird stuff because either we're decoupling from the dollar, but we're also, like, people are looking for something. Like, usually this were good times in the market. So I actually, let's watch it. Let's click it. I'm not 100% sure where they base it off. I think it's based on the volume in Bitcoin as opposed to the volume in altcoins. Altcoin market cap. So yeah, it also looks at the total market cap of altcoins. So if you look at, I'll open another page. That's easier. If you look at the total crypto market cap, which is 3.33 at the moment, and then you look at the total market cap of Bitcoin, you can see that Bitcoin's like 2/3 of the pie is Bitcoin. So if that market cap of Bitcoin starts to decrease or slow down, does not increase as much as the market caps of all other altcoins, so they basically this amount, they subtract the market cap of Bitcoin, and that's the altcoin market cap. If they see that growing, that'll indicate that the altcoin season is nearing and the volume on it is increasing. So I think they base it off of that. I'm not 100% sure, in all honesty. I don't think I have to be 100% sure, but I think it's a good indicator. Usually when it's full in altcoin season, you'll be too late to buy altcoins. Now is the time to buy altcoins. Then would be the time to sell altcoins. Similar to how it's in extreme fear, we buy. Extreme greed, we sell. Because if it's already in extreme greed, all these indicators are lagging. They're lagging indicators. So that means by the time they indicate the season or they indicate the greed, that's already after all the money has gone into these markets. So if you buy at those times, you'll be buying all the market tops, and you'll be wrecked by the time it goes back to fear in the market. So that's how both these indicators and usually all other indicators work as well. But what we try to do is anticipate these movements and try to predict where it's going to go. So if I look at this, I'd say it's safe to assume we could go more fearful. So maybe if you are in profit right now, it's a good time to sell, to take profits. And if you look at the Bitcoin chart, like I still think, I drew this line, but that was Wednesday, but I kept it on purpose. But I still think this is a good time to sell, because if let's say you bought here like me, or you bought these 3 dips like me, I took profits here and I took profits here. Not exactly on the day, not exactly at the top, not exactly at the bottom. Well, they do the fear and greed index. I think it's similar to, I think they base it off of the amount of people selling or buying. So let's grab it real quick. So they have these on a lot of markets in general. If you go to like tradingview.com and you select a stock, usually in the bottom right, before you open the trading chart, you'll see a buy and a sell, like strong buy, strong sell, also lagging indicator, also indicating fear and greed on a certain asset. This is projected on the entirety of the crypto market, and I think they base it off of the movements on the total market caps. Not 100% sure on that either, but I think it's safe to assume that they use like all indicators, lagging indicators, on the amount of people buying or selling, which indicates market sentiment. So if they see a lot of people closing long positions, starting short positions, taking profits, swapping not really because it's DeFi, but if they see people moving money out of exchanges, stuff like that, that would be indicators for. That will be indicators for or data for this indicator, is how I should put it. And it's all based on historical data. Yeah, exactly. Like Panic says, maybe I'm overcomplicating things, but it moves along with the market. But like I said, it's similar to the RSI, basically. But like I don't know if you know what the RSI is, but the RSI is the relative strength index on the trading chart. Well, this is not projected on the trading chart, but on its own chart. But if you look at the Bitcoin price, well, it's not really a trading chart, but it's a Bitcoin price, basically. And I kind of lost my chain of thought there. But in general, it moves along with the Bitcoin price. And as I said, it's dumbing down. It's a very basic view of what the Bitcoin market is doing, really. Or Bitcoin, based on the price and volume. So they look at price and volume. But as long as, like, if you think, I always say, think of the price moving as a rubber band. If something is very overbought or very bought a lot, but it's called overbought or oversold, like you stretch the price, you stretch, and it's say at some point that rubber band is either going to snap or it's going to return back. And that's those bounces back. That's what we as traders or investors are counting on and anticipating on. So if a price dips very low, that's the area where we want to buy, because we want to buy cheaper. If a price starts to move up, that's where we take our profits. And it's very, like I said, it's very basic, very easy, but people tend to get lost in it. And I think this tool, this number, you could form a trading strategy on this purely based on the number that's said here. Like if you see red, I only buy here, I only sell there. Yeah, you'd be holding all the way throughout it, but guaranteed you'll make money eventually. Um, Maybe even there or there, but it's relative to what you want or how you want to trade. But I think I usually say like slow is fast with trading like this, because a lot of people tend to over trade themselves and take too much risk, or end up buying the tops or the bottoms, or not just before the bottom, so they end up with a big negative swing before prices start to move up, and that could really wreck you on long term. So as I said, I think it's a very easy tool. I think everyone should use it, and I think that's also why it's on the very first page of CoinMarketCap. It's also why I always use CoinMarketCap in my videos, in my live streams. I think this is like the Bible of crypto. I think it's so easy to use, and there's so much information found on just this. And obviously, TradingView is a very, very good tool to use. I'm not sure, 100% sure if you're a beginner or not, or if anyone has any questions, feel free to ask them, by the way. And if you missed Wednesday, I also was talking a little bit about this. BRICS European firms get requests for local currencies, not dollars. So as I've said in my past streams, in my past videos, that I still think that the dollar is, well, I won't say the dollar will hyperinflate or go bankrupt, but I do think the dollar will become less valuable in the coming years, because with all the tariff crap, all the global tensions, a lot of countries were already looking for alternatives to trade with. I think that's also part of the reason why Bitcoin and gold are doing so well, because the gold and Bitcoin are assets every country has, every country uses, almost every country uses, and it's not dependent on one single country. So America cannot influence Bitcoin directly, or gold, because other countries can mine gold just as well. Other countries can hold Bitcoin just as well. And dollars are directly linked to the American economy, which is not doing too well. And considering Trump signed the trade deal, he'll be on the hook to protect Ukraine and pay for Ukraine in the coming years. And it'll take 10 years at least to start gaining some profits out of ground, which is currently held by Russians. So I don't think this is very strange. I think this will stick for a while. Yeah, by the fair, sell the greed. I mean, it sounds easy, and it is easy, but a lot of people tend to overcomplicate things with super intense trading strategies, or I don't know, like they force themselves to trade every day for weeks or months, and you just end up over trading. So I taught myself basically, but I learned, I would say the hard way, that trading too much, yeah, you can make profits, but either you lose yourself in the charts, you start trading too much, you start losing money, or you start over leveraging and you lose money, or you're stuck glued to a screen 24 hours every day, and you start to lose friends and family, which is also not worth it, I think. So I preach, I'd say preach, but I preach a very hands-off investing style. This is also, if you followed my earlier streams, why I talk about, my DCA bot. I'm trying to, I'd say reinvent, but it'd be basically an investing bot which buys and sells Bitcoin for you, or at least I'm talking about Bitcoin for now, but buys crypto for you at set certain times, but it and also takes small profits out along the way, but reinvests those as well. So it's sort of a grid bot, I'm thinking. But the best part is you cannot lose money on this, because the worst case, you end up holding more Bitcoin than you wanted in the first place. Or maybe you buy a little bit back, a tiny amount more expensive, but in the end you still hold Bitcoin. So It won't be over leveraged. You won't be lose your initial investment. You'll still make money even through bear markets and sideways times. And I'm aiming at turning, like, if you see a huge push or Trump declares he just bought a Bitcoin palace, whatever, some super hyper positive news, it'll just move out of that grid range and it will stop trading, and you'll just, everything you hold will still become more valuable. So I think it's a win-win, and my aim is to make it super easy to use, and my aim is to use it in a lot of videos. So I think it's, well, I won't, in the essence of repeating myself, it's coming soon. I have run a few demo trades on it, but the demo option currently only features leverage trading, so it's stagnant. It's not doing a lot because it's also trading against itself, and I don't like it. The live version will be different, and I'll definitely use it in my videos and showcase it, because I think it'll be a very teachable moment for everyone. I have good. I'm confident in it, that it'll work. But yeah, this is what I was talking about the BRICS countries. I saw another article on that. US dollar, 8 nations up for Chinese yuan amid de-dollarization. So the de-dollarization agenda worldwide is happening. I think it's happening at a faster rate because of how Trump has portrayed himself on a global scale, and I don't really blame them. Yeah, de-dollarization sparks Buffett to dump $6 billion in BAC. Bank of America holds Apple. All right. And Picoin predicted to reach $2.50. I hope so. I have quite a bit of Picoin as well, even though a lot of it is still locked. But no. Anybody else have any questions, by the way? Feel free to ask. I'm watching the chat as I go. So I'll try to answer them. I think it's been a very exciting week. We saw big price movements again, a lot of volume again. Like, regardless if we're going up or down, I think more volume and a bigger total market cap is good in general. I mean, I'm not the only one talking about this de-dollarization, so like, I'm trying to stay unbiased, but I think let's see if I can get my crystal ball. So volume even now is down. Let's grab my BitUnix chart if it will let me. It took a while, but it's getting there. All right. That is not the correct line. So what exchanges are you all using? I'm still on BitUnix. I have another one. I will showcase that very soon. I really like that one as well, almost as much as I like BitUnix. But I suppose BTCC has also done really well because they added the isolated margin part, which was my biggest drawback on BTCC. Hyperliquid. Weeks and MXC. All right. I used, or Weeks, or whatever it is. I used to use Wex as well, but I quit when they had that run-in with, I think it was XRP a while back. Was that Wex or yeah, it was Wex, I think so. So they reverted a bunch of people's trades, and I distanced myself from it because I had people who used my link to get on it, and they were asking me if I could contact them. I can't because I'm just a customer, just like them. So I couldn't really do anything. So I distanced myself from Wex. Might actually still have money on that exchange, so I'll have to check. But BitUnix so far has been great for me, and I'm still not KYC'd on it as well. Even I could, but I just didn't bother. So I really like that part as well. I think it's still quite limited. I think they're still growing, but the new exchange I have has some very cool functions. Oh crap! My painting. Sorry about that. So I was hanging this and I dropped it, and now it keeps separating. So I'll just take it down. Is HLKYC Hyperliquid? I don't know. I have fair launch Dex layer 1 showing crazy strength right now. I'll have to look into it. I'll have to look into that. I've not lost my train of thought again. It's almost weekend. I'm getting a little crazy, I suppose. But as I said, I don't know Hyperliquid. I know BitUnix. I've used a lot of exchanges over the years. I think a lot of them are good ones. A lot of them I can't use anymore, like Binance and Binance, BitMEX, Bybit. All of them I can't use anymore in the Netherlands because they all require KYC, and the Netherlands banned them because of the EU regulation. So I literally can't use those anymore. But BitUnix is currently my favorite, although the new one is quickly stealing my attention. And I have a Dutch one, which is called Bitvavo. If you're in the SEPA zone, you can use that because I use it as an on and off ramp as well, because it's super easy to use, super cheap. It just doesn't have any leverage trading or advanced functions like it. It's just basically a spot buy and sell exchange. But sometimes simplicity is key. All right, so if I look at this chart, I mean, I don't see it doing a new all-time high, but if you've watched my channel longer, every time I say it, we breach a new all-time high. So please don't base your entire trade on my opinion, but I think volume's quite low. I think it depends on what markets are going to do. Like on the one hand, we're quite overbought. If we look at the RSI here, we see, if you can see it, it's relatively small. But if we look at the RSI, we're right on that overbought line. So maybe a small movement up, we hit that resistance and we go back down. So maybe what I would say is, if we go up, something along the lines of like this. Just excuse my horrible drawing. That was not what I wanted to draw. Let's zoom in a little bit. There we go. So maybe something like that. And then maybe on the second try, we break through, we bounce. That's something I would be looking at if we do go up. Oh, there we go. But as I always say, like I almost always expect a drop after this, and if we go back to that fear and greed index, like we can see, we're forming a little bit of a top here, and it's slowly correcting back down. So I honestly think after such huge movements up, I think we're also the greed index is slowly declining. So I think my gut is telling me we're going to see a bit of a cool down. That's also why I took profits. So I'm expecting a little shift down before we either go back up or go into a bigger correction. But I will admit we have had quite some positive news lately these last few days, with Trump closing some deals, apparently Boeing buying a crap ton of planes or selling a crap ton of planes to Dubai, and Trump getting one for free apparently. There is positive news, but at the same time, we have the peace negotiations, which Putin declined to go to. So I'm not expecting those to be too positive, and I think that will have effects on the market. So I'm let's say cautiously optimistic, because we saw a lot of selling movements here, but we did completely beat those sellers. We're steadily holding right now. Volume has died down, but also the sellers' volume has died down. I do think more of the volume is in the altcoins right now, but I don't know. If we see a bit of news, some positive or some bad, I think that will shift the price. I think that will determine what's next. Because right now, I think all markets are very, very, very heavily influenced by the Trump administration. Like if tomorrow, let's say he tweets tonight, or for me tonight, I think America's just woken up right now. Let's say he tweets today something positive or something bad. That's what I think will shift this price. Yes, it's decoupling from American markets, but it's not decoupled completely. So that's my 2 cents. I think we're more likely to see a small correction down than up, but it's dependent on the news. Global M2 chart floating around Twitter. I honestly have not seen it. I think I should see it because I have a new Twitter page that I'm trying to show. So I should look at that. But admittedly, normally I do research during the day, but I've been so busy today that I almost missed this stream. So it's been super hectic. So normally I do my research during the day because I have time off, but today has been a bit of a hectic day. But if you have a link, feel free to post it. I'll check it. Did anyone have another question, another comment, something they wanted to know about or talk about? Shall we refresh my SUI chart? SUI. I don't know, like a lot of the stuff people say Bitcoin is aligned with, like I used to think it was 100% aligned with the stock market dropped, Bitcoin dropped, but I think it shifts throughout the years. Like the bigger Bitcoin becomes, the more self-reliant it becomes, the more its own thing it becomes, but also the more it will deviate from other assets, other markets. And like I follow him on my own Twitter. What's this called? Plan B. If you heard about him, he uses major supply and demand shows to determine Bitcoin price, and he's been pretty spot on throughout the years. He predicted the 100K, although I think it's an easy prediction to make because we all knew Bitcoin was becoming more and more massively adopted. So, and he wasn't like spot on like to the day. He missed it by a month or something like that. So I take it with a grain of salt. I take all those things with a grain of salt. I think the one thing that is certain, like that's why I handle all these news articles. All the time we open these articles, we see the dollarization, Picoin, but let's filter on Bitcoin only news. If you look at Bitcoin news, all you see is companies adopting more Bitcoin. Now, obviously, these companies are not crazy. That is true, but the percentage is a lot bigger. That is true. I noticed that as well. I think I mentioned it like 2 weeks ago or something. But yeah, it's kind of like how Ethereum used to be, but I think Ethereum is starting to deviate a little bit more from Bitcoin. But yeah, if you watch, obviously, if you're going to watch Bitcoin news, you will only find Bitcoin news. But generally, like if you watch crypto-related news, yes, Bitcoin will always be featured, but a lot of it is so positive for Bitcoin in the long term. All these ETFs that were unlocked I think it's super important. I think it will heavily play into more more retail investors, but also bigger companies investing through their stockbrokers into Bitcoin. Wales lead de-dollarization, JP Morgan, Bitcoin likely to outperform gold in second half of 2025. So if if we read articles like this, it's very safe to assume that if there's now somewhere a dip on Bitcoin, that's a no-brainer to buy Bitcoin. It's a no-brainer to keep DCAing into Bitcoin for this year. But I think as all these articles basically mean more massive adoption for Bitcoin, more countries moving in funds into Bitcoin. Basically, all these articles relate to more funds, big funds moving into Bitcoin. So if you look at the Bitcoin chart, if we look at the chart, like 150K is not that far off then. 200K isn't that far off then. Yes, it'll require a lot more new money to go into crypto because, as we know, the crypto market cap is 3.3 trillion, Bitcoin market cap is 2 trillion. But if you look, I think, at the financial markets, I think the financial markets at this point are around $440 trillion. $440 trillion. And let's say 10% of that moves into Bitcoin. That'd be an insane amount, or Bitcoin in crypto, but let that be an insane amount of money. That would instantly double this, or close to triple that. But that's crazy. The crazy numbers that'll push prices way up. It won't be a straight line. It won't be a straight shot, but it'll go up. Like it's a no-brainer. Bitcoin will become worth more money, and I think the stock market investors will also start to move money into Bitcoin. And that's disregarding the fact that every year more dollars are printed, more money is generated. Every company on the planet generates more money because we want more money, we want profits, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Everything is based, our whole global economy is based on inflation, on generating more money. More money is a man-made thing in general. So every year more money is generated, and a lot of that money is moved into the stock market. And as Bitcoin is now accessible through the stock market, money through the stock market will also go into Bitcoin. Not all of it, of course, but procedurally it'll go into Bitcoin. So I think retiring on Bitcoin is 100% possible, even for new investors, young investors. Like maybe if you're 60 right now, yeah, Bitcoin might not be your retirement option, but still, I think you can make a lot of money on it. The only thing you have to prevent yourself from doing is selling at a loss. It's not a loss if you don't sell. But yeah, that's my 2 cents on the whole Bitcoin price prediction theory on the long run. So I don't need any model, any computer-generated AI prediction, whatever, to tell me that in 10 years Bitcoin will be 200 or 300K, because I know it's going to hit that. It's a matter of time before it hits that. I keep rambling. But yeah, does anyone have any questions yet, or whatever? Because otherwise we might just go and celebrate the weekend, because also Mo is doing a stream in 15 minutes, and I promised I wouldn't go too long this time and disrupt his stream, so I might close it in a few minutes, unless someone has a question or anything they want me to talk about, chart they want me to look at. Yeah, this is one-to-one to Bitcoin. Sui to Bitcoin. Very similar. Yeah, have a great weekend, everyone. And yeah, see you either Wednesday or Friday, or through one of my videos if I find the time to make them, because I need to find more time to make them. And as soon as I have an update on my whole bot situation, I will let you know. I will make my video. All right, thanks again, guys. Have a good weekend.
There we go.